Hey everyone, it's Noah with Extreme Terrain here, and we're taking a look at this Redrock single exhaust system with a black tip and a side exit, fitting the 09 to 21 5.7 liter Tundra. Now this system is going to be for the Tundra owner who wants a single exhaust with an aggressive volume and tone for a small price tag. Now this bad boy is going to be a 4 out of 5 on the Wake the Neighbor scale, and as you just heard in that sound clip, even though it has a muffler, it's still going to lean towards the aggressive side. Jumping right into it here, this system is mandrel bent and it's almost entirely free of restrictions like multiple mufflers, weird ribs in the bends, things like that. And that makes this exhaust just about as free-flowing as it gets. Now Redrock says that this exhaust is guaranteed to increase the power of your rig. This system is a single exhaust, so a black tip is going to let the exhaust exit on the side right by the rear wheel. Now that means you will get some more noise in the cab because the sound is coming out right by the doors. If you're looking for a peaceful commute, this probably is not the best choice for you, but by no means will this system make your ears bleed either. All of the piping included with the kit is 409 stainless steel. Now 409 is a super corrosion resistant grade of steel that will hold up very, very well even in the Rust Belt areas of the United States. All of the piping is 3 inches in diameter, which really opens up the exhaust and lets the deep throaty sound bellow out of your Tundra. And then lastly, the muffler here is straight through and it's a perforated design which is going to keep that exhaust gas moving quickly through and provide an aggressive sound under acceleration with a tame idle. So this Redrock system comes in around $410. It's going to be one of the most budget-friendly ways to get a sweet stainless exhaust system and an intense sound out of your Tundra. Looking on to the install of this exhaust system, it's going to be able to be installed in about 2 hours at home in your driveway, and we're looking at a difficulty of 2 out of 3 wrenches. Now you may need some mechanical expertise to get this guy bolted up, but I think you'll be alright because we're going to show you how to do it. Let's head over to the install bay and check out that install process step by step.
For this install, you will need an impact, a deep 14mm socket and adapter if necessary, a 14mm swivel socket, 15mm socket, and in our case, a 17mm swivel socket and a 15mm wrench, exhaust hanger pliers, and a dead blow mallet. What's up guys, today we're going to be installing a new exhaust on our Tundra, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a short video on how to uninstall your factory setup, and we'll see you when you get back.
Alright, so before we can get started installing our new exhaust, we're going to go ahead and get our factory one off. We're going to show you how to do that while keeping our factory pipe intact. Obviously, if you plan on never reusing your original equipment, muffler and exhaust pipe, you can just cut it and make it a lot easier to remove off of your truck, to be quite honest with you. But this is a fleet vehicle, so this installation is not going to be permanent. So we're going to show you how to get it all out in one piece. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing I would recommend doing before you get going here, let your exhaust cool down if you've been driving your truck, and also get in there with some lubricating oil and spray up the little rubber hangers. That'll make popping those metal hangers out of the rubber a lot easier. All right, now to get started, like I already said guys, I'm going to make sure everything's cooled down. These first 2 bolts that we're going to take out are right by a catalytic converter, which gets really hot. And we've been letting our truck sit for like an hour and it's still pretty warm. I also recommend having eyewear and some gloves while you work with your exhaust. Exhaust pipes tend to have sharp edges to them, not to mention the surfaces being hot as well. So let's go ahead and get these out. Our factory bolts are 14mm. All right, same 14mm socket for these 2 bolts as well. Now we're gonna have a total of 4 rubber hangers like this, guys, and to be quite honest with you, if you're trying to keep your pipe intact like we are, you can do these in any order that you want. We're kind of doing it the way it might be easiest for us to demonstrate for you. So we're at the one that's all the way obviously back here by our spare tire. And you might see a little bit of wetness here on the rubber. I sprayed some penetrating oil on there earlier just to let it sink in. That makes these coming off a lot easier. All right guys, now this is the 4th out of 4 rubber hangers, so obviously once we pop this one loose, you gotta make sure your pipe is supported in some kind of way.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that we've shown you how to remove your factory setup, we can begin installing our new system. And we're going to start here at our flanges. So we're going to start with our shorter one. And what we're going to do is get this lined up in our hanger isolator first and get that in place. So we'll pop that in there. We'll get our flanges lined up, and we're going to reuse our factory 14mm bolts. Now we are just going to leave these loose for now so we can make any adjustments we need to make as we install the rest of our system. So next we'll go ahead and install our longer flange tube here. So first we'll go ahead and get our hanger into our isolator here. Get that in position. Then we can line up our flange. And again, we'll reuse our factory hardware up here. Get our first one in. So this top bolt for us is not a factory bolt. We had to modify it a bit because we had some thread issues, but again, yours should be the factory 14mm that came out of it. And again, we'll leave that loose for now, just to allow for adjustments. Now it's time to install our Y-pipe. So we'll begin with grabbing our 2.5-inch clamps, sliding them over our tubes here. And we'll grab our Y-pipe. We'll get that installed into both of our pipes. This may take a little bit of effort since you're trying to put 2 into 1. And we'll go ahead and grab a soft mallet and tap that in. And you just want to make sure that everything's seated and you don't see any air gaps for your slots here, for your clamps, for your inner tubes. So once you've got that nice and seated, we can move on to our next step. Now it's time to install our muffler. So we've got our 3-inch clamp slid over our slip joint here. We'll go ahead and get this onto our Y-pipe. Go ahead and fully seat that. And then we'll just leave our clamp loose for now. Next we'll go ahead and get our hanger clamp installed. So we'll slide that over the back end of our muffler here. Get it lined up with our isolator. Go ahead and slide that into place. Make sure that seats nicely. Next is our over axle section. So again, we'll slide our 3-inch clamp over our slip joint here. Get our over axle over our axle. We'll slide that into our slip joint of our muffler. Make sure that seats fully. Next up is our tail section. So we'll go ahead and slide our clamp again over our slip joint. We'll get this seated up into our over axle section. And we can work it up into our hanger isolator. Now we can go ahead and install our tip. So we'll grab our last 3-inch clamp here, slide it over our tip, get our tip in place. So now that we've got everything in place and our clearances look generally good, we're going to start tightening everything down. We're going to start at our flanges and work our way back. That way we can adjust anything we need to along the way. So we'll start with our first flange here. And again, our modified bolt on this top part here, we're using a 17 socket and 15 wrench for the top one. And our bottom one's still factory. So we use our 14 millimeter swivel socket. Get that tightened down. Now we can tighten our next flange, and that is our factory 14 mils. So we'll use our 14 millimeter swivel on our impact. Next up is our slip joint clamps. And you want to double check to make sure they're seated fully still. So we'll go ahead and use our 15 mil on our impact to go ahead and tighten these down. And we'll get our other one here. Now we can move on to our muffler inlet clamp, again with our 15 mil on our impact. Next we'll go ahead and tighten down our hanger clamp, which is a deep 14 millimeter on our impact. And you want to alternate tightening these so it tightens evenly. Sure that's nice and secure. And we can move on to our muffler outlet clamp. Next we can tighten down our over axle to tailpipe clamp. Now we can go ahead and install our tip. So we're going to go ahead and slide our clamp over our tip. You can also put it on the tail section. We'll go ahead and get our tip into place. And we're going to line it up, but we're going to leave it loose for now so we can go back up and make any adjustments, and we'll come back and tighten it down. So now we've made sure our tip fitment is still good. We'll go ahead and tighten this clamp down. And again, they're all 15 mils on our impact.
That was my take on the Red Rock single exhaust system with the black tip and a side exit fitting the 09 to 21 5.7 liter Tundra. For all things Tundra, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.